How much money should you save for an emergency fund? Hi, and welcome back. I'm Kamika, and this is Well Balanced Wallet, where I help you create healthy money habits and live a life that you love on your current budget. Today's video is all about emergency funds. I know I've talked about emergency funds here before, but I wanted to make this video because one of the creators that I watch on YouTube, her name is Marissa, and I'll put her channel here, just made a video last week about her husband losing his job, and he's the breadwinner of their family of 4. Now, she's made a few videos since that initial announcement where she is assuring everybody that her family is going to be okay, and the reason why is because they have an emergency fund in place. So this is a very important topic, and today I kind of want to talk about how much money you should have in your emergency fund. So I think it goes without saying that no matter what your financial situation looks like, everybody needs an emergency fund. Emergencies are unpredictable and they can derail your financial stability and your goals. Job loss, medical emergencies, and even accidents can all interrupt your cash flow if you're not prepared. That's where your emergency fund comes in. An emergency fund is a portion of money that you've set aside to offset the cost of an emergency. This money should not be included in your long-term savings like for a college fund or for replacing your car. This money should be just for emergencies. So it's basically a safety net for when an emergency may arise. Now let's talk about how much money you should save for your emergency fund. The amount of money that you should save for your emergency fund is going to depend on the amount of your monthly expenses, your income, your lifestyle, the number of people that depend on your income, and a few more factors. Most financial experts will say that you need a minimum of $1,000 in your emergency fund, and the standard is 3 to 6 months of your expenses in an emergency fund. I personally feel like those are really high numbers and it could overwhelm you if you're not careful. I suggest creating an emergency fund goal for yourself and then working towards that goal. A good way to think about your emergency fund is starting off with a $500 goal. Add as much money as possible to your emergency fund until you reach that $500. Once you have the $500, the next step would be to think about saving $1,000 for each adult in your household. This goal might take a little bit longer depending on how many people you have in your home that depend on your income, but it's doable as long as you just continue to put the money in the emergency fund. Once you save $1,000 for each adult in the home, think about saving $500 for each child in the home. Once that is complete, add $250 for each pet. To take it a step further, after you save the money for each pet in your home, then get your balance to 1 month of your expenses. When that is done, get to 2 months of your expenses and then 3 months. And now you have a 3-month emergency fund. So as you can see, you can continue to add money to your emergency fund to reach your goals, and the ultimate goal is to have a fully funded emergency fund, whatever that number is for you. With this type of funding goal, you'll have a minimum of $500 in your emergency fund at all times while you're on the way to creating a fully funded emergency fund. So you just keep working at it until you reach your goal. So one thing to mention is while you're saving this money, do not touch it unless there is a true emergency. If there's not a true emergency, just let this money build up while you are reaching your ultimate goal. Otherwise, you'll derail your plan. Honestly, I don't think it matters where you keep your emergency fund as long as the place that you're keeping it meets these criteria. The place that you keep your emergency fund should be easily accessible, and that's for withdrawals and for wiring money if necessary. The second criteria is that it shouldn't have any fees, penalties, or taxes when you withdraw your money. And then the third criteria is that your money should not lose value while it's sitting in this location. So this leaves a few options open for the location of your emergency fund. You have interest-bearing checking accounts, you have interest-bearing savings accounts, you have money market accounts as long as it meets those 3 criteria, and then you have cash, but be careful with that one. You should only turn to your emergency fund for expenses that are true emergencies. You should use sinking funds for things like oil changes or things that you pay once per year and even holidays. Check out this video if you want to learn more about sinking funds. And the last thing about your emergency fund is that you want to make sure that you replenish any money that you spent from the emergency fund as soon as the emergency is over. You'll know exactly how much money you need to replace because you know how much money you had in your emergency fund to begin with. So as soon as the emergency is over, start replacing that money. Don't panic if you feel like you can't save enough money for your emergency fund. Build your fund by putting away small amounts of money when you can. Having some money in your emergency fund is a lot better than not having an emergency fund at all. The money that you put aside for emergencies can be the difference between a short financial storm or going deep into debt because you can't afford your emergency. If you want to learn how to save for an emergency fund quickly, click the video on your screen right now. Be sure to give this video a like and subscribe for more Well Balanced Wallet content. See you in the next one.